I'm Danny and I'm an aeromodeler and an engineer. Join me on a fascinating journey exploring the world of scale aeromodeling. So today I'm going to follow on from the silver soldering video that I did yesterday, where I was just testing the flux and the blow lamp and all the processes, and it all worked reasonably well. Took a bit of cleaning up afterwards to make it look pretty, but I'm pretty pleased. It's nice and solid, that's for sure. So today we're going to be looking at the actual piece that I need to make, and you will see that it's a 4 sort of exit exhaust chamber, and it will be fed with some flexi hose which will be clamped to the engine manifold. So today I'm going to try and solder the 4 pipes that are the exit pipes, the smaller diameter pipes, and then I'm going to try and solder the feed pipe plus the flexi pipe onto the feed pipe. So with a bit of luck it should go okay. What I am worried about, and the thing we've got to watch for, is heat transfer from one to the other. So I think what I'll do is I'll prepare all 4 exit pipes and put rings of solder on ready, and we'll do all 4 pipes as one session. This is the exhaust stack that we're going to manufacture, and these 4 tubes are the bits I'm going to solder initially. I'll try and do 1, 2, 3, 4 in succession, so I'm going to prepare them all ready for the process. So as you will have seen on the previous video, I used a powdered flux from Mick Reeves, powdered silver solder flux. This is the lid there that I mixed it in yesterday, and as you can see the water has already evaporated out of it, and we're left with the same powder that we started with in a way. So this time I'm going to add just 1 drop of water, because I added too much water yesterday. There we go. And you will see that that 1 drop mixes into a nicer paste than we got yesterday. It still worked yesterday, so we obviously didn't do too much wrong, but we'll try and do it this way today and see how we get on. First of all, I'm going to start to add flux to the end pipe. I did notice on the work we did yesterday that the silver solder didn't seem to run up the tubes as much as I expected. So this time I'm just going to run the just going to run the flux up a little bit higher onto the tube this time. The solder should only really go where there's flux. Well, that's the principle anyway. Okay, here you can see I've just loosely fitted the 4 silver solder rings onto the stacks. Next step is to warm it all up and see how we get on. And there we go. But as you can see, it hasn't worked on this one here. It's not gone in quite as deeply into the weld as I would hope. So I'll clean that all up again, add a little bit more flux, and see if we can improve it. So all I'm doing is using a needle file to try and tidy up some of this this flange that's not quite gone to plan. So with a bit of luck I'll be able to clean it up and add a little bit of more flux, because it's just through here that it's not actually seeped into the joint. It's gone onto the pipe above and it's gone onto the pipe below, but not into the joint, and I think it's mainly because there was not enough flux, or the flux was too thick perhaps, and it didn't run into that joint. So I'll keep cleaning and we'll see how we get on. With all the filing to get it all nice and clean, it actually came loose and I could see it fracturing around the joint. So I knew it hadn't taken as well as I'd thought, and I knew that line I could see around the edge was not good. If you look at the other three, they've all flowed into the joint beautifully and they're fine, including the end one, which I'll show you, which it's not going to focus on. There we go, the end one. So what I'll do is I'll clean this one right up. I'll clean this hole right up, which is pretty clean already, but I'll get that lip, get that nice and clean without loosening it too much, pop it back in and we'll redo that one. Okay, back with you, and you can see I've done a fair bit of cleaning up. I've made a ring, I've applied some flux to it, so we're ready to try again. The one problem that I did have was by cleaning the outlet tube and the manifold tube, I ended up with a little bit of play and the tube was no longer as tight a fit as it was before. So I'm going to have to be very careful as I solder this to make sure it doesn't move. Okay, so that's the criteria here. At the moment it's just wedged in, but the lightest touch and I think we'll lose it. So if there isn't enough solder on there, for example, introducing the solder rod in might move it. So we're just going to have to be very careful and we'll see how we go. Okay. And there we go. That wasn't quite as easy as I thought it was going to be, and it didn't flow anywhere nearly as nicely as the other three, but it hasn't moved. It's still in the same position. The angles are all the same, so I think we're good to go. A bit of cleaning up and we'll see how it looks. So after half an hour with a needle file and a bit of polishing cloth, well, not polishing cloth, but I use these sort of rubber abrasive pads, which are very useful. I think they came from Halfords. And there we have the main manifold. I now need to clean this bit up, clean the pipe that's going in there, and then we'll silver solder that. But I think you can see that all the joints are really nicely rounded off, and there's absolutely no doubt that they're sealed. The next bit of silver soldering promises to be quite a challenge for several reasons. Firstly, I can't get to both sides of the joint in one go, so I'll have to turn it over and do the other side. Also, I can't really put a ring of solder in there or anything like that, so I'm just going to have to heat the area and see how we get on. Well, that's not gone very well at all. I think the problem is that that manifold hose, this thing here, this flexi, I can't see that the solder's flowing onto that at all. So I think what I might have to do is actually leave that as a detachable hose and clamp it onto the manifold itself. hopefully that's given us a nice solid joint there. It certainly looks like it. There's possibly a little bit more solder on this side than needed, but that was the side I did first before I'd realised I needed to stand it upright. So as I said before, the hose didn't attach at all. So I'm not sure what that's all about. It's a very difficult surface to clean. I put plenty of flux on the inside of the pipe, but I guess flux alone is not enough. So it's a very difficult surface to clean. So I think I'll clamp both ends of the pipe. That's probably going to be my easiest solution. A problem has been seen. All the heat that we used around here to attach this flange seems to have caused a crack through here, about a quarter of the way, or well, a fifth of the way around. So what I've done is I've cleaned it up, put some flux in there, and I'm about to try and attempt to repair it. See how we get on. Okay, a little bit ugly, but it's definitely done the trick. So I'm going to give you a quick example of how you're supposed to silver solder this stainless steel McReeves flexi pipe to normal K&S tubing. So what I've actually done this time is I've filed the flexi pipe to a flat surface at one end and then slid the tube inside, and I want to see if we can actually get some solder to actually flow and form a bridge between the two. Anyway, here goes. Not sure if you can see what's happened there, but it has actually silver soldered fine. So what we're going to try now is, now that we've had a little bit of an experiment and we know that this silver solder rod from McReeves will actually silver solder this flexi pipe, I'm actually going to give it a go for real and solder this pipe to the manifold. I'm hoping it doesn't create a huge mess because it's going to be very difficult to clean up. And as you can see, it's all very nice at the moment. So, fingers crossed, deep intake of breath, let's hope it works. it's not going so well so far. Then next thing you know, it suddenly flowed. So now we have to do the other side, and that's hot. And I think we have success. Bit scabby, but it's good.